Ah, that's right. We got another, like, parcel for this. Oh. So we got the brass compass and the magnifying glass. And we got our $2 here. You know I only have $2 for the allowance. I haven't found anything else. I cannot remember if we already have a blessing in place. Yeah, you can get an allowance in this game. And so that way you start the day with a little bit of money. I've only found a thing that gave me $2. Archfey has started playing this game a lot more recently, and it sounds like they've got a lot more money. You got a whole 4 gold coins for your allowance. God, just lord it over me, why don't you? We could do the shrine, or we could try to do another schoolhouse run. We don't have a lot of gems to start out with. Because the schoolhouse rooms definitely require gems. But fuck it, like let's try to do a schoolhouse run again. I don't think there's gonna be much in here, if I remember correctly. Yeah, there's nothing in here. Okay, let's open up all the doors. It is very pretty. It was my favorite, one of my top 2 from February Next Fest. Okay, so prioritize gems. Ooh, already a classroom. I think we gotta do it. Let's do the storeroom as well, get some more gems. Not the greatest opening, but we will run with it. Why is there a dig spot in the storeroom? Okay. Anything extra in here today? Because sometimes there is. We have 2 keys. Let's do it. What do we got? Ever since we unlocked the dice, we've just been getting less keys in this. And I love getting keys in these because then they pay for themselves. Okay. I guess we go... Yeah, we go straight first. Another classroom. I say we do it. We do it. As many classrooms as we can. It's funny because this is grade 2 because we've already plotted grade 1. I still feel like I could be missing something significant in this classroom. Oh, like in these classrooms. I don't know if it's just like lore. Oh, the laboratory already. But like I said last time, I think the goal is to plot the boiler room first and then try to get the laboratory off of the boiler room. Because there's only one door in the laboratory, and so if we don't get the boiler on that, we're just fucked. But if we get the boiler first, then we have 2 opportunities to try to get the laboratory. So let's do the library. Because oh yeah, if you remember at the end of the last game, we had a lot of money. So we bought some new books. So there should be some new books here, yeah. So we've taken a look at all of the original books. But then we also got The Curse of Blackbridge and Realm and Rune. So the next time we draft this, we should have a new book to look at. Hell yeah. Classroom. What the fuck? Oh, bookshop. We have $7 dues. The cheapest book is going to be $8. But it doesn't hurt to get it on the map, right? So if we end up with even $1 more, we can continue to add to this. You can now draft second copies of rooms you already have in your house. We don't have a lot of rooms in the house, though. I feel like that's a waste. Let's do the bookshop. Not much in here today. Yeah, so $8 and we can get Drafting Strategy Volume 4. And we can get the pantry right now and get that money and come back and get it immediately. Let's do that. Get an apple. Rather than save up and maybe not be able to come back, we're just gonna get it. We'll go for the reading nook. Nothing extra today, just the one key. It's interesting that we do have, it did actually put the library here. Because we've already drafted the library, I assumed that the ability of the reading nook would be overwritten. Let's do the spare room. Nothing extra. Let's get some gems. We are going to need them. Do not doubt the unmatched power of the reading nook. Anything extra? Not that I see. Okay, time for the logic puzzle. The black box is not empty. The statement on the black box is true. A box with a false statement contains the gems. So I'm guessing that this one is false because, like, if this is true, then that is also true. So that would make that false. If this is false, then that is also false. Which makes this one have to be true. Wait, does that work? That would mean that a box with true statement, if this is false, a box with a true statement contains the gems. Yeah, so if this one is true, then that doesn't work. So the statement on the black box is true. A box with false statement contains the gems. This one is the false statement. The black box is not empty. So it should be in here. Oh, the frames? Oh, did I drop a bunch of frames? It didn't show me any here. Weird. I think we do the hallway at this point. Try to backfill a little bit. And for the puzzle, for the letters, I believe it's just like these 4 that we're missing now. I could do the closet and get a couple of items. Not the ones I was hoping for, but still. Ooh. I think we have to do the foyer here because it would be really lovely to get that hall of doors or whatever the fuck it was called. Because everything would be unlocked in it. And I don't think we've drafted the foyer yet. So let's do it and see if there's anything interesting in there. Ah, so that's where that is. One of the pictures on, I used on, like, Twitter and Blue Sky for my going live thing was with that door with the fingers pointed through there. Oh. Count Isaac Gates. Baron Edwin Sinclair. J.R. Yenna? That doesn't... Major Nicholas Key 5. Baron Thomas Sinclair. Lord William Epson. Those ones on the end feel very suspicious. Major Nicholas Key 5. 4. Yeah. Yeah, because, like, one of the things that, and the reason why I'm like, wait a second, is there was, a note about different books in the office, like book requests. Flight of the Queen, March of the Count, Fall of the Lord, Passing of the Barons, Herrings of the Major. So when I noticed Major, I'm like, wait a second. But yeah, Baron. Yeah, Passing of the Baron. Fall of the Lord. March of the Count. Passing of the Baron. Was there 2 Barons here? There are. Baron Thomas Sinclair. And Baron Edwin Sinclair. So the last one was Flight of the Queen. So does that have something to do with this? I can't seem to interact with them at all. March of the Count was the only book where it was written in black. Everything else was written in red. Really? I can't interact with this? Okay, I'm gonna write all of these down. Give me a second. Okay. Note written. Don't know what to do in here, but I feel like that's just gonna end up being important at some point. Especially since it lines up to those titles. I think we put in another classroom. Okay, grade 3. Yes, this is a science one. We have definitely been in here. Yes, because this science worksheet, the last one, H2O in a gaseous state, is supposed to be called, it's supposed to be steam. S-T-E-A-M. So I was trying to see last time, W-A-T-E-R-I. Oh, no, so the CE is used in ice. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, they're all used. I was wondering if there was something that wasn't used in the answer. Oh, give me that apple. I feel like I'm missing something important about those rooms. Let's do the West Wing Hall. The ballroom. Oh, we don't have enough gems for it. We do need to get back in there at some point because I think that there might be additional music pages in there and we need to see them again. I'll never get over how good the music is. In this game? It's very quiet though. Sorry, I was realizing, Prods, that I had missed one of the things that you had said. I guess we just put it in the lavatory. It doesn't seem to do anything. I do miss when we had that dowsing rod that showed us where additional items were. Okay, boudoir. Let's try that. Since we got that hint from Archfey, and I think figured it out extremely quickly. So, from the puzzle, where there's matched paintings or illustrations in every room, we've gotten the majority of them. The only 4 we're missing. Actually, one of them is in this room, so we need to fill that out right now. I believe it is going to leave us with a C. So this is like a crate. Would that be rate? Because this is a crate, a box, a package, a parcel. And this is a graph, a chart. You think crate and rate is... I don't know if I don't want to just like go with the answer that I think it's going to be. Do we even have... we do. So the room that this will empty out into is the one of the other ones that we need the answer for. So if the room beside us is an O, then we definitely know that this was a C. Because I believe that this is spelling the word count. Because there's not too many words that end with UNT. Okay. So, Archfey has given us a clue that the answer for the safe in this room lies within this room. And we haven't seen too much that would give you a clue for a date here. However, there is a picture here that we can examine. And it shows Christmas, you know? Like, this is very obviously Christmas. There isn't... Like, I thought that this picture was just telling us that there was a safe in this room, because I didn't even realize that there was a safe in here. I missed it the first time I was in here until I looked at that picture and came over here. So let's try 1225 and see if it does anything. And it does. I tried to make the hint subtle for you. Yeah, and then it took like 0.3 milliseconds for me to be like, it's Christmas! Ooh, another ruby. And another letter. Number 4. Herbert, I was distraught to learn that you have chosen to omit the details of our dear Marian's disappearance from the public record. It is no surprise to me that the royal court would want this embarrassment kept as quiet as possible, but I'm shocked that you have so little regard for your niece that you would play the king's scullion and stoop to kissing the foot that treads upon her memory. She gave up her family, her fortune, and her life, and all you can do is think of your name. Having never had a family name nor fortune of my own, I cannot personally condemn you for faltering in your commitment to make the same sacrifices that she did. But for the love of God, do not, by that same display of weakness, clutch your petty assets so tightly that you undermine the cause that she forfeited everything to further. Our countrymen must be made aware of the price that she paid and must be made to see the color of the flag she flew as she rode into the darkness of 100 nights. To deny her story is to deny her life. If through your silence you bless this betrayal, our son, Simon, your heir, will inherit a fortune of lies and will spit upon your grave when he learns of your cursed foolishness. Needless to say, we will not be coming for Christmas this year. Daniel. Damn. Yeah, I had some choice words, right? Yeah. Yeah, that was a little intense. I wonder if, like, since we have the code now, like, I'm assuming that we're not going to see the same letter every time that we open up the safe, but I wonder if we'll get a gem every time we open up the safe. I do wish that we could, like, peruse those letters again, because I don't remember what was in the first one that we got, like, at all. Okay. So over here now, and we need this pair as well. Workshop. I don't know if compass and magnifying glass does anything together, but that does block off. Okay. Honestly, you chose a good place. It's close to the antechamber. Yeah, the fact that it kind of like leads into two antechamber doors is why I'm like, you know, they might not be the worst spot. Because like right now, I'm like, if I plot the workshop, I've completely blocked off the top corner. If I plot the archives, I do have access. And if I plot the laboratory, it's a dead end. I think I do the workshop because in order to get into that door for the antechamber, I need to use the secret garden. And since the secret garden has to be on an edge, I've already used up one entire edge. So there is like less chance of getting access to that anyway. And you now know what the basement key is for. Well, I assumed it was for the basement, but I know where it goes to. Yeah. I think we do the workshop here. Yeah, we're gonna have to start writing down those letters because that is changing every time. Anything else in here? I don't think so. Oh, compass and battery pack does a thing. Battery pack and magnifying glass does not do a thing. Yeah, let's just do it. Let's combine them. Compass and battery pack. I don't think we have that one yet. Electromagnet. No, I think we did do that one once. Oh yeah, I think it brings like money and keys and stuff to us. Why not? You're more likely to draw mechanical rooms while drafting, and you automatically collect money and keys when entering a room. If it helps, there's a handful of rooms that can carry the power from the boiler room to other rooms. That's verging on spoiler territory, but thank you. Like, it does assuage my nerves a little bit about the fact that they need to be adjacent. So we needed we needed to know this one, and boat and bat is a very easy one. So we do know that this is an O, so it does spell count. I'm not going to say which rooms they are then. Yeah, please don't. No worries. Really, I should be looking at the ceilings for them because it was very obvious how, like, once you had kind of messed around with it, it was very obvious seeing those power conduits. So I suppose I should be looking in rooms to see if there is something like that. Ooh. 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 Okay, we're gonna plot the boiler room. And then we are gonna do our best, because we have 3 dice to redraw, to try to get the laboratory off of the boiler room. We're gonna do it. Did I press the wrong one? No, okay. Whew. I thought I didn't have it selected. Interesting that it started with the bridge down. Oh, it's already powered up. Yeah. It's left, I think, the way that I had it before. Okay. I doubt there's gonna... Well, we have the electromagnet anyway, so unless there's, like, gems down there, which I doubt, let's just go through here and start re-rolling. Holy shit! Okay, well, we have a gem for it. That worked out nicely. So we just need to send it to that door. Yeah, it's primed already because we left it that way last time. So we just need to change this. Come on, do it. There. And that should hopefully do it. Streamer luck? Yep, there's the power going in. Anything else in here that I should be picking up? We can activate an experiment as well. Yeah, each time you unlock or bypass a security door at a small chest to the entrance hall, immediately gain 1 key for every 2 hallways in your house. It's the ones that we've done before. Immediately add 3 aquariums to today's draft pool. When you draft a red room, lose 5 steps, and then each time you unlock or bypass a security door. I mean, I feel like there's no reason not to do immediately. Like, unlocking or bypassing a security door obviously gives you more, but we don't have a key card, we don't have the security room, we don't have anything to help with doing that. Honestly, it's a goddamn miracle we haven't run into a security door already. So let's do... We have at least 2 hallways at the house. Let's do gain 1 key for... because we're out of keys. Let's do gain 1 key for every 2 hallways in your house. Only 1, but still, it's better than none. So I believe the note that we had figured out for this was push 3 up after 9. So we push up 9, and then we push up 3. I'm sure this is fine. Oh shit, that thing in the rock there. What's this? This, I'm guessing this is our final permanent. Yeah, Blackbridge Grotto has been powered and permanently unlocked. Each day you may access 1 offline terminal from the network. Permanent changes do not reset each day. What the fuck is an offline terminal? There we go. Hell yeah. I think that's it for the laboratory then. Other than running experiments, I think we've figured out everything. Like, because there is this note here. Which might have to do... I don't know. I don't know. Because we have the note, but we can't, like, fuck around with anything. Offline terminals are the terminals in rooms you have not drafted yet. Oh, I see. Yeah, I don't think that there's anything else in here right now. Okay, we're out of keys again. We don't have any gems. I mean, the utility closet... I don't want to lose half my energy. That's the thing. The utility closet is not terrible because then I can turn off, like, the gymnasium and some of that stuff. But then that does block off the foundation. We do still have access through one of the classrooms at the beginning, so we will have to backtrack through, like, the entire house. But I don't think that, like, losing half of our energy right now is a good thing, especially because I want to go outside and I want to explore that new thing. Oh, right, we have rerolls. Thank you for... We don't need to save them for the laboratory anymore. Thank you for reminding me. Walk-in closet would be nice. I think we're gonna do the bedroom, though, because that will at least connect us to the foundation. Study would be nice, but we don't have any gems anyway, so it doesn't matter. Let's do the bedroom. Nothing extra. And we blocked off the last two letters that we need are up here. And we blocked it off. We'll see if this is just locked. Oh, it's not. Oh, we're definitely doing the dining room. You know, free room, no negative, and it'll give us like a whole bunch of energy right now. Yeah, we're putting in the dining room. Nothing extra. Ooh, pizza. I could go for some pizza. I know I should be waiting to see if I get the furnace, but whatever. A scrumptious meal right next to the end goal? Delightful. What are your favorite pizza toppings? I know I've probably asked this before, but goldfish brain. Okay, so that one's locked. We don't have any keys, so we're gonna have to start backtracking. At least we got that extra energy, and that's one of the reasons why I was like, I'm not waiting. The chances of having to backtrack are really high. So we are going to backtrack back to the entrance hall and then go up through the classroom. It's too bad we don't have the shovel. Ah, yes, that final door would be to the antechamber as well, but we don't need it. Yes, through the classroom. This way. God, everybody stop emailing me. I don't care. Just through the pantry. Okay. There we go. There's the entrance. Part of me wants to, like, check outside while we're here. Because we're so close. Let's do that. Feels like it makes sense rather than, like, continuing to explore the mansion and then hoping that we have enough energy to backtrack at that point. Ooh. Damn. I mean, I don't think I need a magnifying glass for this, but interesting. Definitely gonna write that down. Oh, for some reason, from that angle, I thought there was numbers flashing there. You see how it kind of looks like 113? Oh, I think it's just an optical illusion because of the slight circle that's actually on it. Yeah. These ones are out. One thing lit up. Another computer terminal. Whatever is in the center. So I'm guessing I need to route power to 3 different areas or something. I can't seem... Oh, I can interact with this. Small data microchip. It looks like it might be able to be plugged in somewhere. I mean, this is and where I got it from. But, since I can take it out, I'm assuming I'm supposed to take it out. This room is new to me too. I've unlocked it, but all I seem to know is that the pedestal in the middle might be connected to the door on the other end. Yeah, because, like, yeah. So taking it out, maybe I'm not supposed to remove it. Maybe it's just to show that, like, when you take it out, the light goes out. Where was that computer terminal? There it is. Blackbridge Network Administrator Controls. Oh. Oh shit, this is not Swan Song. This is the admin key, first 4 letters of the last name followed by first initial. Characters 1 and 5 are uppercase. So we have the last name for Mr. Veroda, but we don't know what the first initial is for Mr. Veroda. And, like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be entering my own name, sort of thing. Like, if an admin key was set up for myself. Because I can't remember what my own name is. My name is Simon. Is it Simon Jones? We could try it. Okay, first 4 letters of the last name. Characters 1 and 5 are uppercase. Oh shit, there is uppercase with this. I don't think I ever noticed. No, there's no lowercase, is there? Is there? It doesn't seem to be any way to do lowercase. It would just be my last name, though. Like, the first 4 letters of my last name, if it is indeed Jones. Oh, you were able to get lowercase by typing? Maybe Jones wasn't my last name. If my name is Simon Jones, though, that doesn't... Interesting. I didn't even know that I could actually type on the keyboard with that. Well, we have easy access to this. We can verify our name and come back. Because the name should be on the parcel. It should be on the letter in the mailroom. It's in the library. And it might just be that it's not... an admin key was not set up for us. That we have to figure out who Mr. Ryota... what his first name is. Yeah. Yeah, with it being a permanent upgrade, it's very easy to come back here. We'll just expend a little bit of energy. Oh, left bumper was lowercase? Thank you, yeah. I did not notice that. Okay, so through grade 1, we can pick up the apple here. Damn, it got dark. Let me turn a lamp on. There. Okay, we need to redraw. Thankfully, we can redraw 6 times in this room. Up to 6 times, just because that will block off everything and we don't have enough gems for that. Billiard room will give us something. Billiard room isn't terrible. You know, I'd love something that has more doors, like the chapel. Maybe we do the chapel just so that way we have an extra path. One more thing I was able to do that you're still working on. I drained the pool and drafted it again. Oh, I'm dying to know. Don't tell me, but I'm dying to know if it was actually worth all that effort or if I was just like tearing down the wrong path for no reason. Let's do the chapel. We only have $3 dues, so we're not going to be saving up for like a big purchase right now. And it will keep a bunch of paths open. Thank you. Anything extra in here today? No? We'll do this way first. Well, the corner's getting blocked off anyway. Doesn't hurt to do the utility closet just so we can turn off the gymnasium in case that comes up. Yeah, let's do that. I know it doesn't matter about the garage, but might as well. corridor. Oh, there's the security room, except for we don't have any gems to get it. We have to do the dark room. I don't use... I don't know why that one time... Oh, I can see this. The power comes through here. I see. Interesting. Well, we're gonna lose our last dollar walking back through here. But we might get a gem. There's often a gem in the dark room. Anything of note in here today? Oh, we got the lockpick kit. I'll take that. Thank you. Yeah, if you got connected power from the boiler room, you can see which rooms can carry the power while drafting. I'm not sure. Like, while drafting, you can see which rooms? So when I was drafting this, I would have been able to see it? Or do you just mean that, like, from the boiler room, you can see if it's a room that will carry the power? Like, while drafting in there. Let's say you drafted this room for the boiler room, I would be able to see then. We'll take the billiard room, even if it blocks off that corner. That'll give us something. Oh, and we got some money there. So confusing to see it start to fly away, and then I'm like, oh, right, I have that electromagnet. Okay, math time. Oh, okay, so this is... I believe that this is 3 squared, so that would be 9. Okay, 3 squared again is 9. Minus 1 is 8. Divided by 4 is 2. Where's the 2? There. Okay. 1 squared is just 1. Times 18 is 18. Divided by 9 is 2. There we go. Just slurp it all up, yeah. Okay, we got some keys now. So technically, because the dining room was locked, right? So technically, we could go all the way back around if needed. We only have 31 energy, though. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. We could get there if we left right now, but we're not gonna. Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely I'm gonna go this way now. I just wanted to see if it, like, wasn't even an option. Okay, last redraw. Oh, no, we're not gonna do it. Because I'm like, oh, but the broken lever. If we get the fucking garden or the greenhouse, then we can open up the boiler room door. Because we have the adjacency. But we're gonna redraw. Because we don't even have, even if we take the broken lever out, we do not have the gems to get into the greenhouse. Maybe do the conference room. Fucking key card. Okay. Of course. gymnasium we've fixed, so that works fine now. Yeah, we'll do the gymnasium. There. Energy is even less of a concern now. I do like how there's certain items that you're more likely to get in certain places. Like, I find that the shovel and the sledgehammer are the things that come up the most often in the courtyard. And I don't, other than finding like gems and stuff here or coins, it's not like we found the lockpick here. If we find the running shoes in the gymnasium. Okay, and now we're fucked, unfortunately. The only thing left is the guest bedroom. We don't have any rerolls. We don't have any gems. So we're going to put the guest bedroom in. We're going to take that energy. And then we're going to go back up to the dining hall. Yeah. And we have a gem for when we're up there. Okay, which way? Go through the dark room, save a couple of rooms. Lose a buck. Go into the classroom. Okay, and that was this way. Yes. Alright, we already opened that. Don't have enough to buy anything else here. We've been blessed with a gemstone, now we shall not starve, yeah. Crunch, crunch, crunch. God, I love me a crunchy snack. Crunchy snacks are the best. Through here. We're also going to take a quick stop here to see if there's anything we can do with our new items. Ah. Tastes like glass and copper. Mmm, minerals. And the doctor said I needed more minerals. Okay, then up here, and then over here, and now we can unlock a single door. Oh yeah, we also have the lockpick kit, but it has not been paying off today. And then we immediately get a dead end. Oh wait, no, we can get the observatory. Okay, we got one. We're saved. Okay, what are we getting today? Draxus the Dead. Dead end rooms are more common today. Great! Perfect. Just what I wanted. It's like, joke's on you. They're all already in the building. Oh, it actually worked. Joke's on us. No, they're not. Yeah, nothing else we can do. We can't put any of these in. So, at least we get $4 at the start of tomorrow. Potential energy exploit, run between the bedroom and a connecting room over and over. I mean, technically, yeah. Someday we will figure out how to adjust the temperature in here. Because there is too much shit in here, including a letter. Your running shoes might block some of the energy loss. Yeah, very true. But there's nowhere else to go. We're completely blocked off. There's nothing else to do. The conference room door is a keycard door, and we don't have the security room in or the key card itself. And so this one is a wash. So yeah, we still have an hour, pretty much. We can do another. We're gonna push it and do another run. That is very satisfying. Mount Holly Academic Manor, 3 classrooms, total rooms 35, rank reached 9, steps taken 97, items found 10, new rooms 1, which I believe was the foyer. The Blackridge Grotto doesn't count as a room. Okay, so we already got $4 dues, and we'll pick up our additional $2. Ooh, we got the tomb again. I don't know if there was anything actually down there that we wanted to have access to right now. And even if in a doubloon, yeah, if they'd put 2 loons on it instead of 2 deer, yeah, that would have also been really good. I feel like we get the shrine, maybe, instead of the tomb. Because we haven't had a chance. Like, I don't really want to go into the tomb again until we have a chance to drain some of the water from the reservoir. Yeah, no, it's still very high in the reservoir, so I feel like there's no point in going there currently. Let's just get a blessing. Because we don't have any blessings active right now. Maybe we give $3? I was tempted to put all 6 in and just see how good of a blessing it is. But starting with $6 is so nice, right? Like, we might... Maybe we just give $2. Oh, the dancer one. I actually don't care for this blessing. Whatever. We should have done the full $6. Okay. Let's draft some rooms. Hallway in our favorite spot. Sorry, laboratory, I don't care about you anymore. Security is nice. Security is very nice to knock out immediately. Let's do it. Okay, we're gonna set it to low for now. I did it right? Yeah, low and unlocked, okay. Hopefully we can get that breaker room really quickly. Oh, I feel like the furnace is also going to be important for, like, managing the temperature for the freezer room, possibly. probably should have put the key shop on there. Okay, the den. Oh, the pool though. Okay, like we're doing the pool. I'm sorry, we're doing the pool. Is it just a couple of bucks? Is that it? Well, I was right. There's something in the pool, but it was just a couple of bucks. God damn it. Really, there's nothing else. Nothing else I can do or interact with. Was it also a couple bucks for you, Archfey? Oh well. At least next time we get the pump room, we know that we're done with this. Yes, we'll do the den now to get the gem back. Extra. We want 3 gems. Let's just do the storeroom because it's kind of a dead end there anyway. Get a little bit of everything. Oh, and there's the parlor. I was like, oh man, but I want the gems from the parlor. But it gave me the parlor again immediately, which is nice. Okay, take the key. Nothing extra. A box with a false statement contains the gems. The statement on the blue box is true. The blue box contains the gems. So if this is true, then that is also true. And blue box that would be then false. A box with false statements contains the gems, so it would be in the black box. If this is false, then that is also false. The blue box contains the gems. Oh, this one's tricky. Okay. Yeah, if blue is true, then white has to be true. Then this has to be false, which would mean that the gems would be in it. If this is false, then that is also false. Box contains the gems would be true. Your money's on black? Okay, yeah, because if this is false, it means that a box with a true statement contains the gems, but then this is a true statement, but it's saying that it would be over here. Yeah, so it has to be the black box. This takes me a sec to work through it sometimes. It's not terrible to block it off right now. Then we can go back down to the hallway and the pantry and work our way up the other side and then eventually across. Although $9 isn't nothing. We could get the commissary and see what's for sale today. Maybe we do that. There could be a lot of gems for sale in there. Let's try that. Oh, right. It might be a sale today as well. Because we're on day 21. Yeah, day 20 and 21. Everything's on sale. So why are the running shoes still 8, although it says 8? Everything else is showing halved, but not the running shoes? The fuck? So the sleeping mask is extra energy when you go into a bedroom. I feel like it's just more practical to have the running shoes. Sledgehammer is nice. It lets you open up those boxes for free. But I feel like the running shoes, keeping the extra energy every now and then is more practical. Okay, so it was, although it said $8, it really was 4. Maybe we get the sledge as well, just in case we... Whatever. Okay. Through the pool. Into the den. And... yeah. No, not the storeroom. Oh, god damn it. We were supposed to go from the pool. Corridor. Bedroom. There we go. Yeah, it had 4 coins in it. Did yours have a lot more? First time I drafted it after draining it, it had like 20? What? Oh my god. That would actually be, like, something. I'm like, okay, $4, whatever. I'm gonna fill this the second that I get a chance. But if there's a chance for, like, $20, then that's walking around money, you know? Like, that's something that can be very helpful for the showroom. Did not draft a single shop that run. Oh my god. That was, by the way, a Futurama quote with Mom from Mom's Friendly Robots. Where, you know, Fry had all the money that he had accumulated in interest from his bank account, and she's like, "Now that's walking around money." Ooh, sauna is nice. There's often a gem in there too. I was gonna go for the reading nook. Let's give ourselves a little treat tomorrow. Let's do the sauna. There's often a gem in here. Oh, there's a key. I have never been in a sauna. Pump room. Oh, that is tempting. To reroute the water away from the pool. I think we do it. You know? Money is money, but I want the reservoir. Okay, so we need to put water into the pool. So we need to... I believe it was this one. We want water to go to the place. No, I did it wrong. It is that one though, right? There we go. Only a little bit, though. Do I need to flip this switch and then do it again? Okay. We need to start draining water out of the reservoir, which is the second pipe. The thing is, too, is that, like, with the reservoir, we, one? It only filled one? Oh, because it filled that. Okay. There. The one downside of this is that we don't actually know how much we need to drain out of the reservoir. So it's like, is this enough? Is this not enough? I don't know what level it needs to come down to. Personally, you'd try to test draining it 2 steps at a time. It's so, like, it'll take so long, though, with going back and forth between the, the tomb and the pump room. Like, because we don't have the tomb. We took the shrine instead. So I'm kind of like, do I just fucking drain as much as I can? Put everything in the pool and see? I think that's going to be the tactic that we take. Drain the maximum amount from the reservoir and see kind of what the other end of the scale is. Because then once we know how low it can go, then we can go like, okay, we need about half of this, you know? Yeah, there was also that alternative path near the reservoir that was flooded as well. Like, this is the maximum amount. Both of these are full. The reservoir is as empty as possible. I really don't know what the fuck this one is. But this is the most that we can possibly do, I think. So I feel like that's a good thing to do for that, to test it, to see what the most is. Oh, I see that the energy... Oh, no! Bat Midler. Okay, so this needs the energy of the boiler room. Whatever this is. To control whatever this is. That needs the energy from the boiler room. Son of a bitch. Okay. We'll see if the boiler room comes off of this. Oh, we're on the ad break now. I'm not sure if that's... I don't think that that's... I don't know if that's a reserve tank or what the fuck it is. Like, I don't know how to interact with that. But the boiler room will definitely do something. Like, there doesn't seem to be any switches or anything to do anything with this. Like, there's not even any switches here that I can see. Like, there's kind of the space where you'd expect there to be a switch, but there isn't. You know, where it shows, like, the up and down? Like, it does kind of, like, there, but it's painted in. So, very interesting. Okay, let's open this. We'll see if it's boiler room. It is not. Ooh, it is in fact very bad. So we put the pump room here because we wanted to drain that. We're going to have to use the dark room, which this might be spicy because we don't have the breaker room in order to be able to actually see what we're going to be drafting from the dark room. Okay. All gem free. And at least the good thing is, if the coat room was here, we would see the card that had the broken lever, the broken handle on it. So we know that none of these are the coat room. Anybody, do you feeling particularly good about a certain black square here? I'm kind of leaning towards just like picking the first one because it doesn't really matter. But if anyone's got any feelings about it, we can have fun. No, but let's do it. Okay, we'll just do this one. You're like, Moggy, you are putting too much thought into this. Please pick a black square and just continue with the game. We picked a really good one though. This is like the best possible option. When Moggy came upon a set of 3 black squares, she picked the square on her left. Closet or reading nook? We got 3 keys. The closet might have some dice, which having some rerolls wouldn't be terrible. Let's do the closet. Actually, let's do the reading nook, just because if we do closet, then we only have a single. Yeah, let's continue adding as many doors as possible. Nothing extra. Fucking chapel. Like, do we spend a gem to rotate the library? Kind of tempted. Just because I don't want it to end, like, to dump back into the room from the West Wing Hall. Let's do it. There. Oh, and we have that new book. One of the books that we bought. Yeah, so our name is Simon P. Jones. So like I said, if we had the admin access, it's the first 4 letters of your, let me double check that I wrote it down right, or that I read it right. First 4 letters of last name followed by first initial. So it would just be our last name again. It would just be Jones. So I'm guessing that we don't have an admin key set up in our name. Pretty sure I got all 8 of the red rooms in one run once. That would be amazing. I wonder if there's an achievement for that. Okay, The Curse of Blackbridge by Redford Elding. Yielding? Yielding. Yeah, this book was graciously gifted by Simon P. Jones. Oh, that's too bad. The legend of Blackbridge is one that's well known to the people of the Grand Realm, for versions of this tale have been passed down from generation to generation. With each new telling, the story has changed, becoming over the years more colorful, more verbose, and as one might expect, increasingly horrifying. However, with so many renditions and unique personal touches, the task of confining and binding this tale to text seemed an ambitious and impossible challenge. Over the course of my research, I have heard dozens of variations of the legend, and while the details would often change, I was surprised at how much of the story's heart remained the same. Yet, the more I listened, the clearer it became that there could never be a definitive version of this tale capable of capturing all the wonder and myth of Blackbridge. In the end, I chose to write down what felt most authentic, the story my grandmother told me as a boy long ago. Part 1. The Berry Picker from Oris. So again, showing holly berries there and holly leaves. Oris? Why does Oris sound familiar? I'm not sure. Many years ago, before peace had become a familiar word, there lived a group of rogues so wayward that the locals deemed it appropriate for their number, or to call their number, the Unholy Hounds. They were feral outlaws composed of society's worst in a time when society was at its worst, and for each crime that fearful travelers credited to the group, a dozen more lay unclaimed, each worse than the last. For the gentry, however, who often value their coffers more than their companions, no crime could measure more wicked than the group's primary enterprise, high road robbery. One such member of this so-called band of rogues was a boy of 13 years, Jesper, who had not been lucky in life, having lost 2 brothers to war and parents to famine. In the years of hunger that followed, Jesper lived in a gutter behind a churchyard, relying on the nourishment of scurrying bugs and weeds harvested from the cracks in the alleyway to sustain his pitiful existence. It is not surprising that a child aiming to escape such hardships would take an easy road out. An easy and well-traveled road paved with temptations, leading out of the city and into the gentryway, or the gentry lands, where loose purse strings entwine with the strands of salvation and glisten equally with the hope of opportunity. It was this road that eventually led Jesper to the end of his youth, a hidden cave at the bottom of Blackbridge Canyon. It was here that he met his surrogate family and saviors, that notorious gang of godless outlaws known as the Unholy Hounds. I'm assuming that this lore is important for possibly like the little cave that we have underneath the manor that's boarded up, or something that we can access through the tomb or something like that. Despite the hardened circumstances that had led him to his vocation of banditry, Jesper was surprisingly tender-hearted and was often teased by the group for being too kind for such an ignoble life. For this reason, Jesper was assigned the innocent role of berry picker. It was not just innocence that set berry picking apart from the gang's more wicked undertakings, for it was the only duty performed without the safety of night's concealment. Jesper, no stranger to solitude, did not protest that he worked alone while the others slept soundly and tucked away in the cave at the bottom of Blackbridge Canyon. On one such occasion, Jesper decided to get an early start. He left the cave, berry basket in hand, and set out into the woods before the morning sun had even brushed against the tallest treetops. It was colder in the mornings, but the headway dawn afforded meant that Jesper could reach the furthermost berry patches without worry of being chastised for tarrying upon his return. It took over 3 hours on foot to reach his destination, and along the way Jesper had passed by many a familiar bush, all priorly pillaged and so bereft of berries that one would have had to dedicate several moments in earnest examination before finding a single one. Jesper was patient, but even patience has its limits. He was confident that even accounting for the time lost to his long stretch of travel, his efforts would be well worth the pains. It is funny that they showed like holly berries because I'm pretty sure they're poisonous. Surveying the patches in this new grove surprised even Jesper. The red dots suspended amongst the leaves seemed as numerous as stars in the skies. Upon seeing such a bounteous sight, he clutched his berry basket tightly and nearly toppled over out of sheer joy. Once he had regained his senses, Jesper quickly made a decision. He would not reveal the location of this newfound treasure. Instead, he would earn the respect of his confederates who, upon seeing his yield, might attribute the success to hard work. Smiling at his plan, Jesper set off to fill his basket and was making steady strides in this task when the sound of thundering hooves interrupted him. Yes, they are. I thought so. I'm like, I'm feeling a little Hunger Gamesy if you're going to take those berries back to your team. A carriage. A carriage is approaching. The thought of it made Jesper freeze. Had he been so enchanted by his discovery that he had neglected to observe his surroundings? How could a roadway be so close? He ducked down and crept towards the impending sound, hiding behind one of the larger bushes nearby. It was only a moment more before the sound source revealed itself. Within 50 paces of where Jesper hid, an elegant carriage with gold trim came soaring around a corner of trees, led by two beautiful white horses and conveyed by a stern-looking driver seated atop the vehicle, flaunting the most sophisticated regalia Jesper had ever seen. It was not just any carriage, it was a royal carriage. Even without ever having witnessed such a sight before, Jesper was certain. It's too bad we don't have the magnifying glass to really, look at these pictures, too. The sight had so transfixed Jesper that he stood awestruck, unable to tear away as the carriage approached. The little concealment the bush provided was soon proven unequal to the driver's lofty perch, and upon spotting the boy, he pulled the reins with such effect that the noble steed slid to a sudden halt with precise control. "You, boy, get out from behind that bush," he shouted with a rigidity that betrayed a modest amount of fear. "You startled me half to death on coming round the bend of my own drive and seeing such an unfamiliar face in a place where there ought to not to be any face." That's quite the sentence. Jesper quickly contemplated running. The man was much older, and his dress was suitable for courtly behavior, not dashing through the bramble and mud. I was picking berries." Jesper raised the half-filled basket up to allow the driver to see the proof of his words. The demeanor of the man suddenly changed. It was a change that Jesper was familiar with. He had many times seen the same stern expressions on the most fiendish bandits melt away when presented with a berry basket. Any suspicions that the driver might have had instantly evaporated, for even the notion of a member of the unholy hounds picking berries seemed farcical. The softened expression made even allowances for a smile. "Berries, eh? Say, you couldn't have picked a better spot for them, could you? I used to pick berries here as a boy." Jesper took his cue to finally step forward out from behind the bush, proudly brandishing his basket. "I know, and what luck I found them. I've only just begun picking, and look at how many I have. It would have taken me fourfold the time to back home to procure this number." The driver bent down for a closer look. "And where is your home, boy? It must be quite far?" Jesper replied with a scripted response. "A little south of Tanner Fork, just past the burnt woods." "Oh my God, that is far. You couldn't have come all that way only this morning." It was true. Tanner Fork was in the exact opposite direction that Jesper had traveled. And while that response would have seemed perfectly reasonable in a location closer to Black Bridge Canyon, he could see why it might seem less believable here. "Sir, I have traveled much farther for much less profit. I dare say that there is no distance yet made by a man that would not be worth undertaking for for a prize such as these. Surely you've tasted them for yourself." Jesper felt happier with this response, as it seemed to amplify the man's smile. "In my youth, often, but perhaps I took it for granted because I never had to travel very far. And even then, my father would always drive us here in our carriage, so I'm ashamed I never had to walk such a stretch to earn an equal reward." It was Jesper's time to smile. "Then let my efforts reward us both today." He raised the basket even higher. "A taste in memory of your youth, sir." The driver chuckled and removed one glove, bending down over the seat to reach down to the basket. And the moment his fingers touched the first berry, the dagger in turn met his throat, cutting through a superficial layer of skin and drawing blood. Jesper caught the man's startled eyes. "And for that taste, I will have your purse, sir, in memory of my youth." The driver's arm had gone stiff, his chin raised and trembling, more frightened than he had ever been before. Whether unable or incapable of speaking, he did not respond to the boy. Perhaps he did not think his jaw could afford to be engaged at this particular time. Jesper let the basket drop, freeing his other hand to probe the man's pockets. "Do not mistake me, sir. I will not kill you if you give me no cause. Though I will admit the thought of taking your carriage and leaving you the indignity of walking appeals to me." Unable to find a purse in the man's coat, Jesper pivoted to search the seat under him. "Why have you no purse upon your person?" The driver slowly raised his hand cautiously, pointing towards the carriage door behind him. Jesper lowered the knife's edge to a small degree to allow the man to speak, which he did in turn softly. There's a lockbox in the carriage. Well, come down then and grant me the courtesy of sparing your life and binding your hands, a concession I assure you of my tender heart. For it would be much easier to slit your throat. The man started to comply, slowly lowering himself from the driver's seat of the carriage. Once down, Jesper guided him away from the carriage to a nearby tree where he instructed him to get on his knees and put his hands behind his back. Excusing his inexperience, the man indulged Jesper while he figured out how to adequately bind him. The smile and kindness Jesper had seen on the man's face, now nothing more than a distant memory. In their place, cold, dark eyes displaying no emotion. I wonder, should I grant you the same clemency you are showing me? Jesper stopped, surprised by the question, but ignored it, secured the final bindings, and then hastily returned to the carriage. With one hand on the door's handle, he turned back to the man. If there is no lockbox, there will be no clemency. Inside, the carriage was surprisingly dusty and unswept, a stark contrast to the elegant and polished golden facade of the exterior. It had apparently been many years since a passenger had enjoyed passage in this vehicle. This all but confirmed what Jesper had suspected. The driver of this carriage was not a liveried servant in the employ of some greater master. Any curiosity that this observation might have further produced was quickly abandoned upon seeing what rested under the carriage's back seat, a large wooden lockbox. Despite its hefty appearance, the box was surprisingly easy to handle. Within a few minutes, Jesper had dislodged it from its hold and carried it out into the sunlight. Inspecting the box carefully, 2 observations were made. Totemic symbols found carved on all 4 sides of the box hinted that the box was very old and likely not created by Arindian hands. It reminded him of artifacts from the old world and was presumably crafted in one of the ancient realms. Oh, we've seen that, haven't we? Secondly, the box was secured by a rusted yet robust padlock and would not open easily without a key. Jesper looked over to see the driver quietly observing him from his indentured position. Do you perhaps have a key you can provide me to open this box? Without emotion, the driver replied, there is no key to that box. Jesper stood up. Easy enough, then. He headed over to a nearby rock of sizable dimensions and lifted the stone up, carrying it back to the box. If there was ever a time when the lock had been resistant to brute force, it wasn't recent. With one hit, the stone had completely shattered the rusted lock. He bent back down and opened the lid. Inside was an effigy, a crude figure chiseled from stone. Without too much deliberation, Jesper bent down and picked it up, somewhat surprised at how heavy it seemed given how light the box had felt. Having expected to find something more akin to gold or gems, he looked questioningly to the man, hoping to find an explanation. The driver's smile had once again returned. You are cursed, boy, for deadly is the stone. You have opened that which should never have been opened, and you are cursed. Jesper carried the effigy over to the man and shoved it in front of his face. What is it? That's one. Feeling his disappointment rising to anger now, Jesper tightened his grip on the effigy. One what, you mumbling agentor? It's italicized there, so I feel like that's definitely like an in-game word. That's not a word that I am familiar with. And in God's name, why have you no purse upon your person? The man did not seem intimidated. 1 pace. He paused for effect. 12 more, and you will be dead. He only had a second to flinch before the effigy struck him in the head and put an end to his cryptic ramblings. If there was ever a time when the old man had been resistant to brute force, it wasn't recent. Jesper looked down at the sculpted stone figure, now splattered red. Was it cursed? Was he cursed? He had, of course, heard stories of curses and had never doubted their validity in the past. But now that he was standing face to face with the possibility of being cursed, his mind pleaded with him to be skeptical. And if he was cursed, what difference would the knowledge make? A dozen more paces would not be enough to find another living soul, to say nothing of the chances of procuring a remedy. If he did not move from where he was now, or from where he now stood, he could live maybe another 3 or 4 days, maybe more given the abundance of nearby berries. A plan that, if we ignore its obvious faults, might provide additional opportunities for help to come along. But what good would that do? To be discovered here, beside a body, stolen goods in hand, bloated from berries and raving about a curse that could very well not be real. No, it most certainly would be better to face one's fate now, take a dozen paces and see if life goes on. But Jesper found his legs unable to make that first step. His mind was unable to convince his limb to waste away 1/12 of his life in a single motion. Feeling the desperation sink in, he hopelessly looked about him for a solution. And if by some stroke of luck the gods had heard his plea, a miracle materialized before him, as if he found himself suddenly at the end of a fairy tale. Okay, so this is actually really important. 13 steps. This has to do with having a certain number of steps in a certain location. 2 white horses and a carriage of golden trim were beside him, the answer to his immediate prayers. He laughed at his fortune and calculated the short number of paces back to the road. 4, perhaps only 3 if he jumped. He made a quick survey to see if there was anything he wished to grab before taking the plunge. He thought about removing the driver's fancy coat, as that appeared to be of some value, but the additional risk of undertaking such a task was too great to chance. And so, after a profound breath, he took his second, third, and fourth steps, though they were quite large. Seated now behind the horses, he reached for the reins and suddenly realized that he was still gripping the effigy. If the curse was real, then it would most certainly be better left here. If, on the other hand, the story was fictitious, there might be some appraisal that could be made of the figure. It was, after all, found within a lockbox whose typical function oft secures objects of value. Having witnessed firsthand the horrors of destitution, Jesper found his mind equally reluctant to allow his hand to let go. If it is cursed, I die. If not today, then tomorrow. And if I die, what care have I? And with that statement said aloud, to the horses seemingly, Jesper took up the reins with confidence. Part 2. This is long. I know we're at the end of stream, but we're going to keep going because A, I'm not going to miss out on the rest of this book. And B, we're in a bit of a shit situation with the building of the mansion. So we're probably going to end up running into a dead end pretty quickly. So a little bit of a long stream today. We're going to keep going. Part 2. Below the Black Bridge. I don't even know what notes to make of this. There's a slight overage because the other game. It's fine. Yeah. Yeah, I really do not even know what notes to make from that, other than like stone box with effigy, 13 steps. What was the name? I think this was called The Curse of Blackbridge. Miller awoke to some light nudging from a familiar foot. Only one person would have the cheek to awaken her in such an ill-mannered fashion. Shaking the sleep from her eyes, she glared up at him in the darkness, but did not say a word. He nudged her again, teasingly, and then stepped back into the dim. After taking a moment for her eyes to adjust to the darkness of the cave, Miller remembered. She was on third watch today. Quietly collecting her things and wits, Miller turned as she left, waving her to her young friend, who was more than likely already asleep. She crept through the cavern's main passage, careful not to wake the sleeping bandits around her. Like a hero in a book, she often mused. Quietly, she grabbed a bow from the haphazardly formed pile of weapons, shaking the accompanying quiver in the darkness to assess how many arrows it held. She then walked towards the sun-drenched mouth of the cavern, ready to start her shift. Above her, in one of the few trees found in the canyon, Miller could see that Ravia was already posted. She waved, and Ravia waved back. Calling out to each other was strictly forbidden. Anything louder than a gesture in the canyon was forbidden. When Miller reached the tree, Ravia lowered a braided rope and pointed to the ground behind her. Miller turned, following the finger, and saw a pail of water resting beside a nearby log. She turned back to Ravia, nodded, and secured the pail to the rope. The pail went up first, and in turn, Miller followed. Ravia reached across to grab the water. Miller leaned back to give her space. There was not much room for maneuvering in this tree post, a necessary concession for the concealment of the outpost demanded. Ravia tilted the pail up to her mouth dramatically, illustrating how thirsty she had been. Miller laughed silently as water poured out, splashing onto Ravia's face. It was a bit too daring and noisy of a joke, and had the others been around, they would have certainly been scolded for the unwarranted sound. But Miller appreciated the efforts Ravia took to verbalize the silence of the morning. They had been on third watch together for over a month, and during that speechless time, their friendship had grown into something special. Affection was unsurprisingly scarce amongst the unholy hounds. She had felt camaraderie before, of course, but intimacy? Never. From their elevated vantage, the girls could see both the concealed entrance of the cavern as well as a clear view of the bridge that spanned across the canyon. Black Bridge was the link between the Gentry lands and the northern mountains, the overpass that connected Oris and Reddington. To the city-faring travelers of the realm, the bridge was an unavoidable crossing. In the day, the task was to ensure that travelers passed by without stopping. At night, the task was to ensure that they do. Like most of her band, Miller preferred the night. The biting... Me too! The biting glare of the sun might be tolerable to farmhands and bricklayers, but to a cavern-housed bandit, it was a source of constant annoyance. In the day, there was no shroud to conceal her expressions, nor to hide her thoughts. She felt exposed. Ravia touched her elbow and pointed up. Miller, striving to suppress a budding smile, subtly shook her head in response. There were many signs that the unholy hounds used in lieu of words, but the two of them had developed an extended vocabulary. Gestures quietly forged in the shared solitude of their month among the branches. She watched as Ravia shifted, placing her palms flat on the floorboards beneath them. Miller knew what she was trying to say, but shook her head a second time. It was often more fun to pretend not to understand. Ravia rolled her eyes and turned away, looking back to the canyon. Squinting through the leaves, the two girls had held still, watching and listening. It was not long until Miller, too, heard the sounds of approach. Ravia held up two bent fingers, and a few moments later, two men emerged from the bridge's southern end. They were dressed in a familiar uniform, long gray coats with black facings, white waistcoats, and black tricorn hats. They belonged to the local patrol, the Blackguard. Although not an everyday occurrence, their presence at Black Bridge wasn't an unusual sight. It typically indicated an important traveler's impending passage across the bridge, information that the girls would promptly relay to their leaders as soon as the coast was clear. But this report, while exciting, was rarely acted upon. In Miller's 5 years in the Unholy Hounds, she had never once seen a carriage taken in open daylight when the Blackguard was nearby. Look, there's a difference between being a thief and bursting into flames when anything over SPF2 makes contact. Look, how dare you? How dare you sass me like this? Hopefully that worked. But yeah, still. It is true. It is true. Like I said, I get a sunburn looking out the window. I'm black light reactive, however you want to say it. It did good. That's something else that I'm looking forward to about eventually having a second monitor, is knowing when I press buttons on my Steam Deck that they actually do the things that they're supposed to do, instead of just trusting. The men had nearly reached the bridge's north end when Miller heard the horses, faintly at first, but growing louder with each passing moment. Ravia's eyes met Miller's, the same concern mirrored in each other's expression. This did not sound like the typical carriage, cautiously approaching the bridge to cross. Instead of the familiar crunch of the high road's gravel, they heard the harsh clattering of hoofbeats against stone. Both girls quickly redirected their attention downwards, looking through the foliage. The sounds were not coming from the high road, but from the canyon itself. The horses were coming from below the bridge. The call was coming from inside the house. In an instant, Miller had knocked an arrow and drawn her bow. Go! Ravia was gone before the whisper had even left Miller's mouth. The young scout was already sliding down the bank below, racing towards the cave. There was no road that ran below the canyon. There was no reason for numerous horses to be approaching their cave. There was only one reasonable conclusion, and both girls had reached it instantly. The base had been compromised. This was a Blackguard attack. The moment the horses came into view, Miller let loose her first arrow. She was surprised to see a carriage. She'd expected cavalry. Before she even finished processing that thought, her second arrow was in the air. Without a trail, it would be unthinkable for the carriage to traverse such rough terrain, yet she watched as the wheels jolted over the rocky riverbed. A third arrow was now in flight, and there would be no need for a fourth. The driver slumped over just moments before the vehicle dipped into a small ditch, slamming into an embankment. The force of this sudden halt immediately shattered the front two wheels and catapulted the driver from his seat. Utterly confused now, Miller quickly glanced over her shoulder to see if any horses were also approaching from the rear. Down in the canyon, the entire horde of the unholy hounds came spilling forth from the earth as if hell itself had suddenly sprung open. The group seemed even more bewildered than Miller, half asleep and tripping over over one another in a desperate attempt to engage an unseen enemy in combat. Miller could see Ravia amongst their number, the only one looking up at her. Her expression was chilling. There would be no need for a silent gesture to convey what they both now realized. They had made a mistake. The gang's chieftain, Jeffrey Heartslasher. If this didn't feel like a little fanficky before, Jeffrey Heartslasher, what a renegade. He led the others, cautiously approaching the crashed carriage like a suspicious fox would near a baited trap. There were no words exchanged as the group crept forwards in customary silence. A dozen or so paces in front of the wreckage lay the far-flung driver, an arrow protruding from his broken body, and beside him, a blood-stained effigy carved from stone. You guys should all pick it up and pass it around. Miller was inconsolable. Jesper had always been her favorite. He had always shadowed her in the night, clinging to the hems of her every move, the way a child tails behind an older sibling. Tender-hearted, she had always called him, though deep down she had known it wasn't quite true. His appearance of gentleness concealed a raw, resilient durability that emerged in the most perilous of situations. He had been a flower among the nettles of this cave, but he still had thorns, honed by a grim past and 100 hands of misfortune. They buried him in the darkness in the back of one of the larger caverns. He was interred with a berry basket and a silk handkerchief that he had treasured. I feel like we're going to find this graveyard underground. And knowing that, like, one of the, like, if there's dig spots or something, we might find a berry basket and a silk handkerchief. The mysterious effigy that they had found beside him served as a distinguished gravestone, a marker that stood out as somewhat special amongst the rows of similar swords marking neighboring plots. No one spoke, not even in whispers. There was nothing to say. Miller woke the next day to a thunderous shaking and rattling of the earth, a far cry from the playful nudging of the previous day. She strained to adjust her eyes, but the choking sting of stirred-up dust caused her to flinch. Panic was in the air. The sounds of scurried footsteps and clattered feet filled the space around her. But even in alarm, the silence was louder. What was it that had sounded so strange? Miller closed her eyes tight and used her feet to guide her along the passage. The whispers around her were getting louder, and intense voices could also be heard ahead. Louder speech than she had ever heard spoken in a canyon. A growing dread grew as Miller approached the mouth of the cave. Her eyes now opened wide despite the dust. Shouldn't it be day? Miller felt a hand in the darkness pulling at her. It was Ravia. The two embraced, and Miller did not need to see her to understand. Ravia placed two bent fingers against Miller's cheek, and with that touch against her face, Miller felt the same sinking feeling from the previous day. Two bent fingers confirmed what Miller had suspected. The girls had forgotten to relay one critical piece of information to the others. An hour or so later, the screams began. Blood-curdling cries of hopeless desperation. Captain Fodrick Lee of the Blackguard looked down from the ridge of the canyon to the collapsed entrance of the cave. Ah, he grinned. Now they speak. Damn. So this is like likely below us because I believe that the canyon that they're talking about is the one that the mansion is above. So somewhere below us is a whole bunch of bandits that have been the bodies of bandits that were blocked into the cavern, unless they managed to find another way out or something. But very interesting. That was a lot of lore. I I only took notes from the very beginning because there's just too much information there to parse what's important and what's not important currently. But damn. Okay, let's keep going. Let's see how quickly we accidentally lock ourselves in. Aha, yes, the bandit mass grave. What, your house doesn't have one of those? And here's the end. Like I said, well, yeah, if we rotate the ballroom, we can't get through it. Yeah. Oh no, secret passage, okay. But that just leads through the far part of it, right? Let's test this. Let's see if we plot the secret passage here, because normally it goes on the far side of it. So let's see what happens. Anything extra? No. I guess we can just choose a hall. We have a lot of halls already. We might not. The only halls that we might have might be like multiple gem ones. Still, I feel like I think that the passageway is a 2 gem. So let's do it. Nope, it's blocked off. It's for science. Yeah. So it has to be, the secret passageway has to go out that way. So yep, we're blocked off. That's going to be it for this very short but also very long run. This very run full of lore. Yeah, game saw that you were past the stream end time. Yeah, it's telling me to go get a snack, which I think is going to be some nachos tonight. That sounds yummy. Mount Holly Charming Cottage. Total rooms 20, rank reached 4, steps taken 29, items found 0. Obviously no new rooms drafted as well.